Technology and yoga mixing together. All right. Cross your legs in the center of your shins. Take your shoulders over your hips. Rest your hands lightly on your thighs. Upper arms in line with your side ribs. Give yourself permission to be here. You are nowhere else but here. Your physical body is nowhere else but here. Of course, the mind likes to travel to the past, to the future, to different places. And can you give yourself permission to bring your awareness into the body, into the here and now? Finding that even balance of the sits bones. Finding that lengthening through the inner thighs, through the whole inner groin. Sending the flesh of the inner thighs. Drawing the outer knees to the outer hips, compacting the hips together without gripping the inner thighs. And of course, the pause after each instruction is for you to do the instruction and then reflect in the effects. The action is not what is most important, the observation of the effects. The effects aren't what's most important either. The observation of the effects is what's most important. Lengthening up through the side ribs. Remember to keep the front bottom ribs moving towards the back body. Lengthening from your armpits to your inner elbows as you draw the shoulders down. And bringing the palms together at your chest. Without tucking your chin, without moving your chin down, move the back of your head, that bone that protrudes out of the back of your head, move that up. But that doesn't mean tuck the chin. Rest your eyes into your cheekbones, gazing at the seat of your heart, the seat of your soul. Again, allowing your awareness to dwell within your body. Allowing you to experience the here and now. And let's chant the syllable Om 3 times together. Exhaling completely. Deep inhalation. Lift your sternum towards the ceiling, keeping the front ribs towards the back body. And instead of just lowering the chin will lower, but now can you take the back of your head, that bump that sticks out in the back of your head, the occipital ridge, move that towards the ceiling as you lower the chin. So it's more lifting of the back of the head than a lowering of the chin. But the chin does lower here. The chin descends towards your heart. Releasing your hands onto your thighs with your palms up. With your eyes closed, raise your head. From the back of your head, gently let your eyelids open. Straighten your legs. Fingertips by your hips. Press the thighs down. Lengthen through the inner thighs, all the way through the inner heel. From the upper inner thighs, also drawing back towards the abdomen. Descend the flesh of the inner thighs, draw the outer knees to the outer hips. The little toe does draw back towards you. All right, so the bottoms of your feet you want to be in a straight line. That's it. Good. The balls of the toes are together. And that does a couple things. One, it helps broaden the foot. That's nice. But it also draws the energy back around. Remember, this is a practice of energy. It's a physical body, but it's also the energy within the physical body. So as we extend the energy out through the inner leg, it wraps around the foot, the little toes come back towards us, and then we get that drawing from the outer knee to the outer hip. So it's like the circle of energy flowing around our legs. And of course, you can spread the toes as well. I'm not a great demonstrator of that. Should put Leanne's feet on camera, better than mine. But spread them as you can. That was a nice spread, George. Yeah, look at that. Lifting up through the side ribs. Release the shoulders down. Release the shoulders down. And then separate your legs. And again, you can change the lift if you need to or would like to. Kneecaps up, toes up, little toe back towards you again. Press the thighs down. The lengthening of the inner legs. Again, the top of the thigh does draw back towards the abdomen, but then we lengthen through the inner knee, through the inner heel, push through the ball of the big toe. And the energy then wraps around. The little toe moves back towards us as we draw the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. This is continuous circle of energy flowing around the leg. Front bottom ribs towards the back body. That was a good adjustment, Carla. Nice. Lengthening through the side ribs. More distance between your hips and your armpits, but keep the shoulders down. Right. It's not more distance between your hips and your shoulders. It's more distance between your hips and your armpits. So can you lengthen without just lifting the shoulders? And these silent parts are opportunities for you to observe, not to wait and wonder what's next, but to actually be here in the pose and observe. Take your hands on the inside of your knees, pull up, take the feet together. You can, if you're on the floor, you're welcome to take your hands underneath your feet. You can use a strap as well, or you can be here with your hands by your hips again. And traditionally the fingers would be forward, but you can also roll the upper arms out. Sometimes that helps take the shoulders down. So then the fingers, thumb would be forward, fingers would be back. So you can pick what works for you, but do it intelligently. Don't just wind up where you wind up. but pick it and decide. Sometimes for me, the fingers forward helps. It's a little bit more work to get this opening in the armpit chest. Sometimes that work is useful, and sometimes I need a little bit more assistance to get there. So what do you need today? Of course, you still have to start with the base, so balance evenly on the feet. I'm sorry, did I say balance evenly on the feet? Balance, but here, that's true though. Balance evenly on sits bones. But now see that the weight of the feet on the floor are also equal, because it's true. We don't actually pay attention to that one enough. So maybe it's good that little blunder came out. Because notice how one foot is pressing into the floor more than the other, yeah? Is it just me? Am I the only one? It's very hard to get that evenness, and adjusting in the feet doesn't work. You have to find out where else in your body you need to adjust to get that. So balance evenly on the sit bones, balance evenly or have equal weighted pressure on the feet, and press the heels together as you lengthen through the inner thighs, the inner groins, and draw the outer hips, the inner flesh of the thighs still descending. And take your hands on the outside of your knees, push your legs together, hold behind one knee. Draw the flesh towards the buttocks as you drag the heel. Other leg, draw the flesh towards the buttocks as you drag the heel, feet together, little toes back towards you. Getting that circle of energy. So it extends through the inner leg, goes around the foot, goes back towards the outer leg, the outer knee to the outer hip. And release. Let's lie back. Take a strap with you. Legs are bent, feet on the floor. You have your strap. If you don't have a strap, then you can use a blanket. Well, you can use a blanket, a towel, or a scarf, or a belt, a regular belt. Bend your right leg into your chest. Put the strap around your foot where the heel meets the arch, and straighten your leg. Please, no death grips on the strap. Soften your shoulders in your hands. Soften your face, and press your thigh back, the thigh bone. Not just the knee, but the thigh bone. The outer hip also moves away from your shoulder. The kneecap faces forward. And then seek that circle of energy again. So from the upper inner thigh, there is the drawing back towards the abdomen, but then from the upper inner thigh, extending out through the inner knee, through the inner ankle, push to the ball of the big toe. The energy rolls over the foot towards the little toe and then draws back towards you from the outer knee to the outer hip. So that circle of energy flowing around your leg. And yeah, I know it's more like an oval than a circle, but you get the idea. Now maintain that. Take your left leg, drag your left heel on the floor, straighten your left leg, press your left thigh down. And now get that circle of energy on your left leg. So both legs extending from the inner thigh through the inner knee, through the inner ankle, pushing through the balls of the big toes. Little toes coming back towards you as you draw the outer knees to the outer hips. And even though your legs are in different directions, can you experience that flow of energy on both legs? And then reaching high up on the strap with your right hand, take your left hand on your thigh, press your thigh down, and take your right leg towards your face and out to the side. Towards your face and out to the side. If you want to rest your elbow on the floor or your upper arm on the floor, that's fine. And now re-engage those circles of energy in both legs. Lengthen from the inner thighs through the inner knees, extending through the balls of the big toes. Draw from your outer knees to your outer hips. Legs remain straight. That right thigh is still pressing back. Right thigh is still pressing back. Left thigh is pressing down. You can use your hand on your hip and thigh, your left hand, to push the thigh down. And can you get that circle? Watch the left leg, Leanne. It's turning out. Turn it in. There you go. And get that circle of energy on both legs. Imagine you're enjoying this, that this is your favorite pose in the world. And then with the straight leg, inhale, come back up. Hold both sides of the strap for a moment. Supta Panagustasana 1. The thighs pressing back. That circle of energy flowing around the legs. And then bend your legs and switch legs. So left leg bends into your chest, put the strap around the foot where the heel meets the arch and straighten the leg. Press the thigh back. The hip goes with it. So the kneecap points forward, the thigh bone presses back, the outer hip moves away from the shoulder. And then that circle of energy. The upper inner thigh, there's a drawing back towards the abdomen, but then there's also that drawing, that extending through the inner leg, through the inner knee, through the inner ankle, pushing through the ball of the big toe. Broaden across the foot. Make your foot wider. So turn your C foot width into a D foot width, or your D foot width into an E foot width. And draw your outer knee to outer hip. Soft hands, soft shoulders, soft face. And drag your right heel on the floor, straighten your right leg. And then mirror the actions of your right leg with your left leg. So the right thigh then presses down. Is the circle of energy flowing around both legs from the inner thighs, extending out through the inner legs, little toes moving back towards you, drawing from your outer knees to outer hips. Again, soft hands, soft shoulders. That circle of energy flowing around each of your legs. And then reach up high on the strap with your left hand, right hand on your thigh to keep that thigh down. Take your foot towards your face and out to the side. And you can rest your elbow if you'd like. It's fine. Or you reach down further on the strap and straighten your arm. It's fine also. Eventually, you're holding your big toe. So that left thigh is pressing back. And the right thigh presses down. You can use your hand to help you. Don't just push the right knee down, Carla. It's the thigh. So watch overdoing it in the knee. And lengthening through the inner legs, drawing the outer knees to the outer hips. That circle of energy flowing around both legs, even though they're doing very different things. And with the straight leg, inhale, take your leg back up. And take your right leg in the strap next to the left leg. Soften your hands and your shoulders and your face. Again, the thighs pressing back. The upper inner thighs do draw back towards the abdomen, and then from the upper inner thighs extending through the inner legs. Little toes moving back towards you and drawing your outer knees to your outer hips. Lower back down. And bend your legs, place your feet on the floor. Straighten your legs on the floor. Take your feet together. The little toe still comes back towards you. Interlock your thumbs together and extend your arms overhead. The thigh bone presses down. Bones, plural, both legs. So now we get that circle of energy flowing around both legs from the inner thighs, extending through the inner legs, through the inner knee, through the inner heels. Little toes move back towards you. Spread the foot. Broaden the foot, broaden the toes, and draw your outer knees to your outer hips. Maintain that. So maintain that flow of energy as you lengthen through the side ribs, front bottom ribs towards the back body. And open those armpits and extend armpit to elbow, elbow to wrist, right through the fingertips. But we also have that circle of energy flowing around the arms. So can you draw from the outer elbows to the shoulders? So the inner legs extending, the inner arms extending, drawing from the outer knees to the outer hips, from the outer elbows to the shoulders. These 4 circles of energy flowing around your limbs. And then releasing, let your legs go, let your arms go, arms out by your sides. Breathe into your shoulders and breathe into your hips. Breathe into your shoulders and breathe into your hips. And then feet together, interlock your thumbs the opposite way. So put the opposite thumb on top. It's always the hardest part. Remembering which thumb was on top. Feet together, heels together, toes together. Toes point at the ceiling. Little toe moves back towards you. Front bottom ribs towards the back body. So lengthening through the inner legs, lengthening through the inner arms. Drawing from the outer knees to the outer hips. Again, spreading the toes, spreading the foot. Drawing from the outer knees to the outer hips as you draw from the outer elbows to the shoulders. Those 4 circles of energy flowing around your body. Yes. So the question was, when you're in this pose, are you taking the shoulder blades down? Yes. So one of the instructions we give sometimes is extend through your inner legs, outer knees to outer hips. Now extend through the side ribs. Now plant your shoulder blades down and then extend through the arms. Don't let the shoulder blades follow the arms. So you're planting them down so in a way the mat is pushing them down, right? The stickiness of the mat pushes them down as you extend through the inner arms. But I'm adding that drawing from the outer elbow to the shoulder. So you experience those 4 circles of energy. Does that make sense? And release and relax. Arms out by your sides. Let your legs go, palms up. Breathe into your shoulders, breathe into your hips. So completely let go now. All right, bend your legs, place your feet on the floor. Extend your arms now overhead. They don't have to be, you can interlock the thumbs if you want, but otherwise just palms up, arms extending overhead. And bend your legs into your chest. Draw your abdomen down, draw your lower back down. Now in your arms, get those circles of energy. So extend through the inner arm, draw your from your outer elbows to your shoulders. Draw your abdomen down, ribs down, and then straighten your legs towards the ceiling. And get that circle of energy through your legs. Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, 90 degrees. Urdhva is upward, Prasarita is extended, Pada's foot. So extend through the inner legs, draw the outer knees to the outer hips. So we did this when the legs were straight, we had that circle of energy flowing around the legs and the arms. That was Urdhva Prasarita Padasana at 0 degrees. We were flat. So here we are at 90 degrees, and we still have those same circles of energy. Yes? So now the abdomen is engaged. Lower back down. And then bend your legs into your chest. Feet on the floor. Release your arms, roll to the right, come on up. Come up onto your hands and knees. If you're using the chair or blocks for downward facing dog, then take what you need. Rotate the forearms in. Press down through the ball of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. So even here in the arms, you can have this extension from the armpit all the way through the inner arm, through the ball of the first finger and thumb, and then there's a drawing from the outer elbow to the shoulder. So do that here while gravity is still relatively on our side. And then turn your toes under, straighten your legs, and see if you can maintain that, extending the inner arm into towards the inner hand, drawn from the outer knee to the outer hip, and then pushing into the floor. Inhale, exhale, thighs back, chest towards your thighs, sit bones towards the ceiling. Now do press the thighs back. Do press the thighs back. Pull yourself up off of your hands, but then find that extension of the inner arms. Leanne, see if you can tell me what works, but I would see what spreading your fingers really wide feels like. And if that bothers, then you don't have to. Does that create ease or more pain? Yeah. And spread here, look at my hand. Here, spread that apart. Okay. So extending from the inner arm through the ball of the first finger and thumb, and really drawing from the outer knee, the outer elbow to the shoulder, and even from the outer elbow to the shoulder blade, and then the shoulder blades move towards your waist. Thighs back, outer heels down, outer hips up. George, feet further apart. And then look up, walk your feet forward, come into a forward bend, Uttanasana. Hold your elbows. Upper arms in line with your ears. Pressing your thighs back, not just the knees. So don't jam the knees back, but press the thighs back. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Now here there is a lifting of the inner leg. So from the inner ankles, you're lifting up, all the way through the inner groins. Moving your hips towards the ceiling. Let your torso fall over your thighs. Let your head release. The back of your neck is long. Let your arms go, hands on the floor. Walk your feet back, downward facing dog. So the thighs press back. That's number one. Then see if you can get that lengthening of the inner arm from the inner armpits out through the inner arm. And then drawing from the outer elbows to the shoulder blades. And then move the shoulder blades up your back. Pressing your thighs back, lift the outer knees to the outer hips. And this one, there's a lifting in the leg. So from the inner knees, lifting up. So the legs are a little different here. Outer heels down, outer hips up. Thighs pressing back. The top of the calf moves down. So for those that where the legs aren't straightening completely, which is fine, judgment-free zone, we have to be kind to our bodies. And we can think of it as not just pushing the knee back, but taking the top of the calf down, the bottom of the hamstring up. Top of the calf down, bottom of the hamstring up. So we begin to make space behind the knee. And then looking up, walk your feet forward, holding your elbows the opposite way. And I've been doing this for a long time. I still have to hold my arms one way and then do it the other way to make sure. So no big deal. The thighs press back. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Lift from the inner knees through the inner groin. Move the hips towards the ceiling. Move the sits bones towards the ceiling, allowing your torso to fall over your thighs. And again, the back of the neck is long. Let the head release. And see, if you remember when we were sitting at the beginning of at the very beginning, I said take the back of your head up, which happened to be away from the neck, right? Without tucking your chin. So without tucking your chin any more than it is, it's a little tuck, that's fine. Without tucking your chin anymore, take that back of your head, that occipital ridge, away from your neck. Let your arms go. Take your hands on your hips. Keep your thighs pressing back. Extend your chest forward. Inhale, come all the way up. And then turn to face the front, feet together, Tadasana. So Mateo had growing pains in the middle of the night last night, which meant I was massaging his legs with CBD oil, right? Helps the growing pains. And he felt better, but now my shoulders are tight. So we're gonna do some shoulder work. If you're happy about that, you can thank Mateo's growing pains in the middle of the night. Arms out to the sides. Drop the shoulders. So from here, hold your arm. Ensure that you are holding your arms up from your armpits, not the neck shoulder area. It is true that the arms get much more tired when you do that. You just want to drop them. What's going on in that shoulder? Okay. Front bottom ribs towards the back body. Now, from your armpits, rotate the arms up. Keep the front bottom ribs back. It's going to help. Hold your arms up from your armpits. And then from your armpits, push your arms up. Shoulders down, shoulder blades down as the arms go up. Now keep the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Take your back bottom ribs towards the front body as if your back bottom ribs, they go in and up as if your back bottom ribs are pushing your arms up. But you have to keep the front bottom ribs back in order for that to work. And don't lean back. Don't lean your shoulders behind your hips. Turn your hands out to the sides. Come down. So don't lean your shoulders behind your hips, because what we're doing when we do that is this is what happens. And yeah, it looks like my arms are further back now, but they're not. They're just, this angle is the same. I'm just leaning back further. So instead of leaning back to get those arms back, take the arms back to open the armpits. You want this angle here to be wider. Do you see the difference there? See what's going on now? And now the truth is I feel it in my shoulders. I feel it here in my, between the low and mid back, really, really just below where those bottom ribs are. And I'm not saying you have to feel that, but when you work that different part, when you're opening your armpits, instead of just leaning back, the whole body has to get involved with it. Okay, so we're going to take the arms forward this time. So arms forward. Draw the shoulder bones into the shoulder socket. So it's still that outer elbow to the shoulder, right? Draw the front bottom ribs back. Draw the back bottom ribs in and up. Now take your arms up from the base of your shoulder blades. Have the base of your shoulder blades push your arms up. Then we'll get the back bottom ribs involved. Back bottom ribs in and up as if the back bottom ribs are pushing the arms up, thighs back, of course. And now, an optimal amount, don't lean back, but open the armpits. Maybe the arms and not just the hands. It has to come from the arms where the armpits are. Maybe you open the armpit, opening just a little bit more without tucking your chin. And turn your hands out to the sides. Exhale, come down. Interlace your fingers together. Turn your palms out. So again, there's the drawing of the outer elbow to the shoulder, front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in and up. From the base of the shoulder blades, push the arms up. No leaning back. So it's the same here. Back bottom ribs in and up as if the back bottom ribs are pushing the arms up. Front bottom ribs back. And then don't just take the hands back, but the arms go back. Any amount, an optimal amount, so that the armpits open without tucking the chin. See, these are things we do to trick ourselves. We tuck the chin and then the arms are closer to our ears, so we feel we're more open. Or we lean back and then the arms are further back. We think we're more open. But that's not the goal. When you open the armpits here and then extend through the wrists, draw your outer elbows to your shoulder blades down as the wrists go up as the arms extend. I'm going to take your arms down in front of you, turn your palms to face you, switch the interlock. Turn your palms out. As soon as I extend my arms, my front ribs go forward. So now I have to take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. I also, as soon as I extend my arms, I end up taking my shoulder bone and moving it towards my wrists. So draw from your outer elbow to your shoulder and draw the shoulder bone back into the socket. Draw the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Take the arms up from the shoulder blades, push the arms up, then draw the back bottom ribs in and up as if now the back bottom ribs are pushing the arms up more. That was good, George. Draw the shoulders down, shoulder blades down as the wrists go up. Arms going back to open the armpits. And release your arms out to the sides. Come down. Take your right elbow on top of your left elbow. Cross your forearms. Take your palms together. The front arm comes back and then around. Turn to face me. Turn to face me. No, switch the arms. Now get them closer together and then take this one back. No, not, you're doing this. No, this one. No, this one towards your face. No. Wrap it around the, there we go. Yes. Yes. Oh, I didn't know you wanted the easy class. You got to tell me beforehand if you want the easy class. Front bottom ribs towards the back body. Upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. That's it, Carla. And then rotate the wrist so your knife edge of the hand, that edge of the hand, faces forward. Fingers towards the ceiling. Broaden across the top of the back. Shoulders down, but broaden across the top of the back. The back outer shoulders move away from each other. Front bottom ribs still back. Back bottom ribs still in and up. And release. Take your left elbow over your right. Left over right. Cross the forearms. That's it, Carla. Good. Upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. Rotate the wrist so the knife edge of your hand faces forward. Fingers extend towards the ceiling. Of course, front bottom ribs towards the back body, back bottom ribs in and up. Broaden across the top of the back. Shoulders down, but the outer shoulder bones, the back outer shoulders, move away from each other. Widen. And release. So we're going to do it again. A lot of you have done this with me before, where we fly the arms out. We give them momentum. So watch, we'll swing the arms out and then use that momentum, swing them back in, and you can get sometimes just a little bit deeper into it, okay? And this is Garudasana, eagle pose. So it's like you're an eagle flying. So swing the arms out, swing them back in, right elbow on top of left. If you got it backwards, don't worry about it. You'll just switch it the other way. There you go. Upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. And it doesn't always work. It's all right. Rotate the wrist so the knife edge of the hand faces forward and broaden across the top of the back. Front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in. Back bottom ribs in and up, I should say. Now, when we release, we swing the arms out. So release, swing the arms out, swing them back in, other way. And if it doesn't really work, that one didn't work for me. So I'm going to swing them out again and then swing them back in. There we go. Upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. Rotate the wrist so the knife edge of your hand faces forward. Broaden across the top of the back. And release. And this is a wonderful opportunity to see if there are any differences in the arms. So take the arms out to the sides. Rotate the arm up. Hold the arms up from the armpits. From the armpits, push the arms up. Front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in and up. Feel any different? It doesn't have to. And turn your arms out to the sides. Exhale, come down, downward facing dog. Use your chair or blocks if you need. That's fine. Forearms rotate in, upper arms rotate out. From the inner armpits, extend through the inner arm, push through the ball of the first finger and thumb. Draw from the outer elbows to the shoulders, even the shoulder blades. Turn your toes under, straighten your legs. Inhale, on your exhalation, thighs back, chest towards your thighs, sit bones towards the ceiling. So now you really can get that extension of the inner arm, pushing through the ball of the first finger and thumb, and then from the outer elbows to the shoulder blades, right? Because we have that opening in the armpit. Does this feel different than it did before? What's different? Shoulder blades towards your waist as you press your thighs back. Now take your abdomen, roll it into your tailbone, press your thighs back even more. Extend your outer heels down, lift your outer hips up. Look up, walk your feet forward. Take your hands on your hips, extend your chest forward, inhale, come up. All right, take a chair. It's one of my favorite shoulder helpers. I don't even know what it's called. I don't know if it has a name. I'm sure it does, but it's more of a preparatory pose. But come down. Well, watch for a second. You'll come down on your knees. You'll take your elbows on the chair and interlock your fingers together. But you want to take your knees back now. You can even rest your head on the chair so that you're not here with that, that angle that we were talking about in the armpit. So you get as open an angle as you can. Now, I'm going to just give you the correction that is often the biggest correction that we need to give. There's a tendency to drop these ribs down. I'll see if I can show you what I mean. So there's a tendency to drop the ribs down, right? So I want you, we've been working on this, right? Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body, right? So you see the difference from this to this? Yes, no? So take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. The back bottom ribs can still come in. That's going to help you. And then there's the extension from the armpits through the elbows, from the outer elbows to the shoulders. And then, see, look at my hands. The palms are together. And now I'm going to move the wrists away from the palms and the wrists away from each other. That feels so good for me. Let's see if it feels good for you. No guarantees. So elbows on the chair. Knees back. You can rest your head on the chair if you'd like. It's not necessary. So open those armpits as much as you can here. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body so that you're not sinking. Back bottom ribs can also go in and up towards your chest. Now press into the outer elbow, not the inner elbow. And then you can open the wrists. So take the palms and the wrists away from each other. For those that practice headstand, you're making headstand hands. And then extend from the armpits through the elbows to the inner elbow, and then from the outer elbow to the shoulder blades. Soft face, soft jaw. And then release. So you're going to have to interlace your fingers the other way, but I want to point something out to you. So watch for a second. So a few of you are doing this. You're taking the hands back and then doing it. So it's not that you have to push them forward, but the energy, right? So if we were doing headstand, where would we be pushing? We'd be pushing here, and the wrist would go down. We'd be pushing here in the forearm, right? That's in the headstand. That's the brain of the pose. What Iyengar calls the brain of the pose is the middle of the forearm. So you want to have the experience here that those parts are also extending away from you. So you're not pulling back, but you're extending that part. So imagine that you were against a wall here, and you're pressing the wrist and that forearm into that wall. Okay, so let's try it again. So change the interlock of your fingers. You can get that opening of the armpit. And don't take your hands towards you. That's better, Carla. So press into the outer elbow, not the inner elbow. Make sure you're pressing into the outer elbow, not the inner elbow. So the hands shouldn't be over the middle of your head, but closer to the top of your head. Or maybe even a little further away. But outer elbows down, then extend them. Move the wrists away from each other. Take those front bottom ribs towards the back body. No sinking, no sinking. Back bottom ribs can go in and up, but the front bottom ribs have to go back. And then extending the inner arm, drawing from the outer elbows to the shoulder blades. And release. Come up to standing.
Jonathan, thank you for that clarification. It really helped me.
Oh, which clarification helped?
The placement of the hands and.
Awesome. Thank you. Tadasana, but I want you to cross your forearms behind you and hold your elbows. If you can't reach your elbows, then you take your forearms. If you can't reach your forearms, you take your wrists. If you can't reach your wrists, hold your hands. Front bottom ribs back. Front bottom ribs back. Back bottom ribs in and up. Now take your forearms and push them into your back without arching your back. So not pushing them into arch. The torso stays just as it is, shoulders over your hips, but the forearms come forward. The back bottom ribs in and up, front bottom ribs back. And then release, change the cross of the forearms. And as soon as I get into this, the first thing that happens for me is as I throw the front ribs forward. Now we are Tadasana, so balance evenly on your feet, thigh bones back. Then take those front bottom ribs back bottom ribs in and up. And then maintaining the shoulders over the hips. Don't arch the back to do this. Take your forearms, push them into your back. And what I'm hoping you might be able to get a glimpse of is an opening in the armpit chest, which if you lean back, you don't get. But if you keep the shoulders over the hips and you don't arch your back, you may, if not today, one day, perhaps, but you may get a glimpse of that armpit chest opening up. And release. Take hold of your strap. Where is my strap? So take the strap over your right shoulder. Now we're doing Gomukasana. Some of you may not need the strap. If you know your hands can connect, you don't have to use the strap. Extend your, what arm is this? Left arm out. Left arm out, and then the palm faces the back. And then bend the elbow and draw it up to take hold of the strap. And you can use that strap for those that struggle with this pose. Like I certainly, this was a terrible pose for me, or at least a very struggling pose for me. You can use that strap and you can crawl up an inch. You can use your right hand too. You can take your right hand back and hold your elbow. And again, if you can't reach your elbow, you can push your wrist and just push it slightly up. Your right can help. Your right hand can help. I'm slurring my words today. Maybe that's because of the middle of the night growing pains. But you can also just use that strap and just see if you go a millimeter more. And then take your right arm up, rotate the arm to face the back, and then you take hold of the strap again. So maybe you're here with your hands wide apart. This is a totally fine pose. Totally fine pose. Or maybe you crawl your hands down the strap and then you're here. Or maybe one day your hands meet. But here's a caution. Sometimes, especially when we get close to the hands meeting, we do this one. And we throw the ribs forward and then thighs and everything because it arches the back and then the arms are closer together, right? Don't do that. Better for the hands not to be connected than to throw those ribs forward. So front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in and up. Now the top arm, take the tricep towards the nose. That's it. And then open the armpit. Open the armpit. So take the elbow towards the ceiling to open the armpit. The lower arm, extend over your shoulder down towards your elbow. And the lower arm rotates in, right? That upper arm rotates in. Extend the elbows away from each other. And then extend the right arm up. Take the left hand on the outside of your waist. Take your palms together on the outside of your waist. Take your right elbow forward. And release. It's a journey, that pose, right? Shoulders, man, shoulders. All right, take the strap on the other side. Right arm out. And if you don't need the strap, drop it. Turn the palm to face the back, bend the elbow, take hold of the strap, crawl your hand up the strap. You can take your other hand and help support it. Move it up. You can even take hold of the elbow, pull it in. Take your left hand, rotate to face the back, take hold of the strap. Walk your hands a little closer. If it's accessible, if you're already at optimal, don't worry about it. Maybe your hands come together, but not by throwing your hips and ribs forward. Front bottom ribs towards the back body, back bottom ribs in and up. Now top arm, the tricep rotates in, and then take your elbow towards the ceiling, open the armpit. Yes. Bottom arm from the center of the sternum, extend over the shoulder blade, down through the elbow. But remember that upper arm turns in. Extend the elbows away from each other. Front bottom ribs back as you do that. No toe gripping. Extend the left arm up. Right arm on the outside of your waist. Take the palms together at your side. Elbow forward, left elbow forward. Tadasana. I think we ought to do that one more time. The poses you hate the most are the poses you need the most. Left arm out, turn to face the back, bend the elbow, crawl your hand up the strap. See if you have another millimeter there. But again, do what's optimal for you. As I did that, my ribs went forward. My guess is at least some of you, the same thing happened. So take those front bottom ribs back, then take the right arm up, rotate it to face the back. There go my ribs, front ribs back, and then take hold of the strap or your hands, whatever is accessible to you. But then thighs back, ribs back. Now let's add the legs. So balance evenly on the feet. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen from the inner knees up through the inner groins. Front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in and up. Take the top tricep towards the nose, the bottom, the lower arm, the upper arm rotates in. Open the armpit, that top armpit, extend the elbows away from each other. Keep the front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in and up. And yes, the shoulder blades go down. Observe your pose. And extend your arm up, arms out to the side. That hand goes on the outside of your waist. Right elbow forward. And release. If you're using the strap, goes to the other side. Right arm out, palm faces the back, bend the elbow, walk up. Don't note. I was going to say don't throw the ribs forward. I take it back. Notice if the ribs went forward and then adjust. Left arm up, rotate it, and then come down. Maybe the hands touch, maybe they don't. Take the ribs back, front ribs back ribs in and up. Start at the base now, balance evenly on the feet. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips, lengthen from the inner knees through the inner groin. Front bottom ribs back bottom ribs in and up. The tricep to the top arm moves towards your nose. The lower arm, the upper arm rotates in. Open that top armpit, extend the elbows away from each other. Front bottom ribs back bottom ribs in and up. Observe your pose. Chin parallel to the floor. And top arm up, bottom arm at the side waist, hands together, elbow forward. Tadasana. You can release the strap.
Hey, Jonathan, what's the significance of that counter pose? I've never seen that before.
Um, it's just a release. I find a release in the shoulders. It was taught to me by Eric Small, one of my teachers, one of the senior Iyengar teachers. It's just a counterbalance to what we do, and it's also nice for the wrist. Good for yummy for the wrist. Um, but yeah, it's just pulls the elbow back. This just takes it forward and moves his shoulder into the opposite, I don't know, opposite, but a different position. And I kind of liked it when I learned it. I don't always teach it, but I often do it. Yeah. And then, since you asked that question, all right, sit on the floor, sit on a lift. If you don't want to lift, you don't have to. I learned this from Peggy a little while ago. For those who know Peggy, she's our senior Iyengar teacher here in Austin. She subs for us sometimes, but she has her own little studio in her house that she teaches out of. Take your right hand behind you and take it to your waist. Take your left hand there. And now turn your head slightly in the direction of your left elbow, but up at the ceiling. And you might feel this experience in the neck that opens it. Yeah, anyone feel that? And you can also experiment, look the other way. I kind of like the looking towards the direction of the elbow. I get a little bit more relief that way, but different people's bodies are different. You can do this one watching TV and then release. And then take your left elbow around, take it on your hand. And again, begin to look towards the elbow. Not, or I should say, not towards the elbow itself, but in that direction, but towards the ceiling. Front bottom ribs back, don't lean back. And release. And our legs are crossed. So what do we have to do now? Change the cross. Do it again. Two-sided pose. All right, right hand behind you. Now, don't let the shoulder lift up when you do that. So as the elbow comes forward, the shoulder still does go down. And then look towards the ceiling in the direction of your elbow. And, sometimes you can move your chin up or down a little bit and find where it might be stuck for you. If there's something stuck, maybe it's not for you. You can kind of massage some of those areas out by doing that. And to be honest, what's actually happening in release, I'd have to really look at the map of the muscles and see how they're all connected, but it works. So I'm not sure exactly what's forming here, what's getting created, but it seems to work. So that shoulder and elbow go down, that the right shoulder and elbow, take that down. And then you can adjust, your head to either an optimal place or maybe even up and down a little bit and adjust it and find what's stuck and roll through what's stuck. And release. Downward facing dog. Last one. So use your chair and blocks as needed. Lengthen through the inner arm. Draw the outer elbow towards the shoulder blades. Toes under, straighten the legs. Inhale, exhale, coming into your pose. Front bottom is towards your back body. Thighs back. From the armpits, extend through the inner arm, inner hand. From the outer elbows, draw up to the shoulder blades towards your waist. Outer knees lifting to the outer hips. Inner knees lifting to the inner groins. Take your abdomen, roll it into your tailbone. Press your thighs back even more. And then coming down, bend your legs. Touch your knees to the floor precisely the same moment. Feet together, knees apart. Rest your skull either on the floor or on a block or blankets, or lift. Adho Mukha Virasana, child's pose. Keeping the brain soft, take your hands underneath your shoulders, push to come up, and lie back and set yourself up for Shavasana. So complete letting go. If you want, let's bend the legs into the chest for a minute. So bend your legs into your chest. Give yourself a little hug here. So you can ease the lower back and ease the abdomen. And on your inhalation, take your feet to the floor. Straighten your legs one at a time. Take your arms out to the sides and let go. Completely let go. Space in your armpits. So you still want that space, that opening in your armpits. Let your legs fall out completely. And can you allow yourself to be fully supported? Let your whole body be supported by the Mother Earth below you. The legs, the arms, the torso, the skull. Complete support. Soft face, soft jaw, all the facial features letting go as you rest your eyes into your cheekbones. Draw your ears inward and listen to the breath from the inside of your body. You don't need to breathe, the breath will breathe you. Can you become a witness to the breath as the breath breathes you? Shavasana. To begin slowly coming out, take a soft, smooth, peaceful inhalation and a longer, smooth, peaceful exhalation. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your nose, and you rub your thumb across the tips of your forefingers. Bend your legs, place your feet on the floor with your feet, knees together, feet apart, knees together, feet apart. Take your hands onto your abdomen or onto your chest. Let the healing energy of your hands penetrate your body, pierce through your layers, and heal whatever it is you may need healing with today. When you feel ready, extend your right arm past your right ear, roll to the right. If you want to roll to the left, that's fine. When you feel ready, take your top arm, place it on the floor in front of your heart, turn your torso towards the floor as you push to come up. Come up chest first, head last, come to sitting. Cross your legs the opposite way that you did in the beginning of class, and your palms together. Take a moment to observe your practice. What's different? What's changed? Let's close our practice together by chanting one collective Om. Deep inhalation. Om. Gently let your eyes open. Big smile. Namaste. Bow to the divine within you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here.